Hey guys, what's going on? No. Hey my YouTube fam, what's going on? As you can see, I love this background, so now this is where I'm gonna be sitting most of the time. Alright, so today I have some requests about the process how I go about writing my book. So I wanted to come on here and give you a little rundown on how I go about getting my book right. Okay, so if you know me, well, I didn't talk on YouTube my process of my childhood. I didn't like my school days was like I didn't have much school days. So when I was 19, because of the stuff that I've gone through as a child, I wanted to write it down in a book, but I couldn't do it because I couldn't read. When I was 19, I couldn't even spell my name. That was how bad it was. And I struggled throughout my life with jobs, with everything, um, to get to a point where I can help myself with, as a single mother, I have 4 kids, and I couldn't, the process, how I write, what I write in this book is in here. It is raw. It is exactly how it happened, and this is my autobiography of my life story. When I get the opportunity and I understand and I start learn how to write, it was I start writing since 2019. I start to scratch things down on paper, and as I said before, I wanted to write the book since I was 19, but because I didn't have the knowledge, so I developed that knowledge now and able to do so. And I would love for you to take the time out and go through this book. It will give you some understanding where in life, when difficulty reach you, you should never ever give up, because this book is very painful. I have cried several times throughout my editing and fixing and writing. Yes, this book made me cry so many times, because from nothing, like literally nothing, to able to get to write, I can read this book, and to able to write this book, it 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 made me feel so much joy, because there was this time in my life where I used to sit and cry because I didn't know the name on the vehicle. A vehicle could drive past me and the word under is on the vehicle, and I don't know how to spell it. I didn't know how to spell. I can't like when you really think about it, it's like it was just so suffocating. It's so painful, but at the same time, I am here to encourage you that you should never, ever, ever give up on educating yourself, no matter what. Just keep going. There is YouTube, there is Google, there is so much things. If you come up on a word that you don't know how to spell it, just keep going. Google it. Ask the phone to spell it for you. Do something. Keep helping. Throughout this time I was writing this book, I didn't know every single word how to spell it, but I Googled it. I Googled what I wanted to spell, what I didn't know how to spell. But the good thing about it, I can read this book. So it goes to say that I sit down on pen and paper and I start writing my story eventually, what I've gone through, and I could able to upload it on the computer, type it up on the computer. Oh my God, I come a far way, and this is a perfect example of why people should never ever give up on their dreams and what they believe in, and they should keep fighting for what they want in life. You know, um, it just brings such joy to my heart, because the days when I used to cry because I couldn't spell and I couldn't, I went to look for jobs and I couldn't fill out the application because, and I just leave when they gave me the application. That's that story in here. When I went to Price Right gas station up by Meadowbrook side, this story is in here. And when I went there to get my job, my dad knew the guy that was working there, and he told him that I couldn't read. I was 19 years old. And when I went there, my dad said that the guy was going to do the application for me. But anyway, when I get there, the guy gave me an application to do, and I look on it, and the only thing that I can remember that was on that paper is the word name and address, and not even that. I couldn't write on the paper. I recognized the word name and I recognized the word address, but I couldn't spell it. I couldn't. And that's when reality hit me. When I was living in the country, you know, and I wasn't going to school, and I was enjoying the life of the cows and carrying water and all that stuff, reality didn't hit me. I thought that was just life. You know, I didn't know better. That is what we used to. I'm not ashamed of it. It had taught me a lot. But at that point, when I was there living that life, I thought there was nothing else to live. You just live like that, and people just randomly live like that, because we never go anywhere. Where the first shop was from our home was like 45 minutes. We never have light, we never have water, there was no road, no vehicle, you know, driving past, we couldn't see anything. We used to use back lamp and all of that, but still, I am not complaining. I'm here, you know. So the fact of the matter is that was the life I used to, and school wasn't a priority. So I didn't go to school. It was not my fault. Like, my parents just dropped me off. My mother just dropped me off and leave me with my grandparents without birth paper or anything like that. So my life was just ripped. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, and I am just here to share a little story with you guys. So you should never ever give up. Never ever give up. Also, I'm gonna give you a little details on how I decided to put the book together. I was doing some research myself. I come up with my own plan. My kids, my family, I told them I'm gonna write a book, but they didn't know how serious I was. I don't know if they think I was joking, but I do this on my own. You know, I didn't bother my kids to help me with things. I do my research. I find people to edit the book for me, because I'm not a professional, so I didn't edit the book, but I write the notes. You know what I mean? And I send it to them and they edit it. Sometimes I'm writing the note, I add patois to it by accident. And then they call me and ask me what's that word. But I clear it up, you know, and I rewrote it and send it back to them. So anyways, after I decided now to write the book, it was last year. I had a dream. I'm not going to talk the dream right now, because I have hope for the dream to come true. So I had a dream that me and my 4 kids was, you know, doing something, and it just popped up. And I wake up September, not last year, that was 2021. So now it's 2023, January 2023. And I have this dream, and I wake up the morning and I'm like, oh my God, whoa, I need to get my book out. I need to complete it. But I was writing the notes since 2019, and that's when I put some fire up on it and said, I need to complete this. So I went on Google Docs and I started to type in the book. Whatever I write on the paper from 2019, I start typing up in Google Docs and I save it. So each time I remember, I keep writing and I keep writing and I keep writing until 2022. I decided that I am going to find an editor to edit it. But before that, I have to measure what size I want the book to be. So I think this is a 9x6. So I said I wanted a 9x6. So you can go around in your house and maybe look up on a book that you would like your book size to be. So let me show you. Like, for instance, you get your tape measure and you measure the length of a book inside your house. Yes, you measure the book and see if, say for instance, you see a book in your house that you would like the size of that book. Just measure them, measure your books, and if you see one that you like, you just do the measurement and then you write that down. Get a little notepad and write down the things them that you need. Write down a list of stuff, a list of names that you would want your book to name. That is very, very, very important. And then you start to write your chapters, what you would want your chapters to be. So I have several chapters in here. I have 20 chapters. So the first one is the beginning. The beginning, when I was 4 years old and my mom bring me to Clarendon to live with my grandparents and tell me that she was going to come back in 2 weeks, and she never come back until I was 12 years old. I never saw her back until she was 12. But the whole time my hand was broken when she took me to Clarendon, this left arm, and I didn't know that it was broken. But the full story of me as a 4-year-old, my parents got separated. My parents got separated when I was 4 years old, and I put what I remember in this book. So the second chapter is childhood in Jamaica. Childhood in Jamaica. And then the third chapter is school days. School days, and then the incident, you know. So there's so many things that happens to me, and I just try to name the chapters accordingly to what happened to me. So I don't know how much chapters you're gonna need, what your story is gonna be about, but the first thing you need to do is to get your book and pencil and start writing. And I encourage everyone to do this. You know what? I don't have anything to show that my grandparents or my ancestors have anything to show, but this is something that is important to me and for my children to see. To do this, if you have the time, take time and get it done. It is important for your children to come and see who you were, get to know who you were, you know. So if I have something from my mother, I didn't grow up with my mother, but I wish my mother did have a book, or somebody would have a book that I could read. I didn't go into, like, what do you call it now? I go into details in a lot of these stories, but it could have extended even more. The book is like 100, let me see. The book is like 150 pages, and I could go up to 300 pages if I go all the way in depth. So it depends on how you're telling the story. It can be longer, because I used to carry water on my head. I used to what I used to do as a child is what I wrote in the early child of this book. The hardship that I faced, my pregnancy as a single mother with 4 kids. How did I do it? How did I do it? The formula is in here. I was mentally destroyed as a single mother. But when I have my kids, I grow to love. Growing up, it was hard. I don't know what love was. Nobody ever said they love me. So for me to show my kids love, it just naturally comes. I wasn't the person that verbalized a lot to say, oh, I love you, but I'm the kind of person who prove loves to someone. But if my child or any human being, I prove my love by showing how that I care, and that was how I show my kids love. And my kids also have, at the end of the book, I made a mistake. Printing made a mistake here by spelling my last daughter name wrong. I don't know if that can fix, but somewhere you have our notes in here. At the time, she was a little mad with me, so I think she put some stuff in here that, you know, but it's okay. You gotta be authentic and you gotta just speak what's on your mind. I asked them, all four of them, to give me a one page. This is Siobhan. A one page of how you feel about me as a mother. I didn't want them to take up too much page in my book, so I asked them to write one page. So they just do a little brief details. They didn't go into depths, so you could read all of them view in the back here. And yeah, it's just, it is something to just celebrate and be grateful for it, you know. Yeah, I am grateful that I have come this far in my life, because I know a lot of people that's still struggling to read, you know, and people that in the same community that I grew up in, it's hard. It's hard for them. So I am grateful that I learn. How I learn to read is in this book, by step. So it's important to have an education, because when you don't know anything, you just feel it just made me feel so backwards. It made me cry. As I said, it made me cry so many times, because I wanted to do things. Now I am not afraid to do anything. Yeah, I'm to speak in front of people up front, I might have phobia with that. Yeah, for sure I do, and I'm not, but I am working on it. Okay, because there's nothing that you cannot do if you put your mind to it, and I believe that there's nothing I cannot do if I put my mind to it. So I asked my kids, as I said, I asked my kids to write the notes here, and they did it, and that is something that I love. So you could pick up your copy on Amazon. And one of the other thing I want to tell you is that the audio is gonna be available. One of the reasons why I decided to do the audio, because a lot of people still cannot read, and they could get the audio to listen to, and could get the knowledge of what I've been through, and the understanding of what I've been through, and they could listen to it, and they could, you know, picture that still. So I think about them as well. They could get the audio to listen to, because audio is really one of the most popular thing right now. A lot of people are not really reading books, they're listening to audio. So I decided to get the audio, so hopefully by the end of January, early February, it will be ready. So guys, as I said, get your paper and your pen, start writing down what you want, list by list, the size of the book. First you have to start writing your story little by little, day by day. Then you measure your book, your size, what you want your book to name. There's a list how many pages you want into your book. As I said, this is like 150, and see the size, see the book. It's a big enough book. What else? The name of the book, your chapters, what you want your chapters to be. Those are where you should start. And then you can Google ghostwriters. You can Google ghostwriters, or if you want me to give you the ghostwriters that write my book, I could do that as well. Just let me know. Send me a message, and I'll reach out to them and let them know, or give you their information, and you could always call them that I recommend you. So anyways, my goal is to encourage you guys to do it. Write your book. And as I said before, I don't know nothing about my mother, because I didn't grow up with her, not during my childhood, and I wish that she have a story to tell. And I dream something about this book, and it wakes me up, and I decided to write it. So I hold it up to God, and I hope that dream comes true one day. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please remember to like and share it with your friend about my book. And anything that you needed to know, you can always text me on Instagram. It's Donna B Live. are on Facebook. My Facebook name is Donna Edwards. It's maybe gonna hard to find, but Instagram is Donna Be Live, same as my YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much. Love you and be blessed. Okay, bye. Also, guys, there's one more other thing I wanted to tell you. You see the name of the book? I wasn't okay, because I really wasn't okay, and that's one of the main reason why I read this book. I actually read a list of what I wanted the book to name, and they basically, all of them resonate to the same thing. So I just choose this one. So whenever you're titling your book, you have to, don't make it too long. Make it short and effective. Okay? Adios.